Awesome. That is good. Cool stuff. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And be getting into a bit here of it. Going to be getting into a bit of it. Hello, Casey. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me know in chat there. And we shall get into it. We shall be getting into the thick of everything. Yes. We have quite a bit here. There we go. We have quite a bit to look at. Cool. So, obviously, the topic of tonight is the major hurricane that's going to be brewing out into the Atlantic. So let's get into it, guys. Right now, for those who don't know, there are what we like to look at is called models. So models are pretty much giant supercomputers that compile as much data as they can previously and basically take a best guess as to what could come of that storm system, or how weather patterns are, jet streams and such, high and low pressure systems. And there's two that a lot of people use, which is your GFS and then your European model. There are a couple different ones, ensembles that can be used, but everyone's talking about it, and a lot of people will say it's a forecast. It's actually not. These are not forecasts whatsoever. This is just a tool to allow us to kind of see what we're working with and what may come. And I say may come because it can change. Obviously, right now, we do have, as we take a look at that GO satellite, the GO satellite, which is, I think this is GOES 11. What we can see is obviously over here in the, this is off of the Horn of Africa. This is where a lot of hurricanes start to form because they are long trek over the Atlantic, across Puerto Rico, and then they can come either into Florida, possibly dip down south of Florida, go up into the Gulf, turn back out to the Atlantic, or ride up into the eastern seaboard. Obviously, that's what we're seeing right now. National Weather Service and National Hurricane Center, which comes out of NOAA, they are pretty confident that we are absolutely going to see a what they could classify as a major hurricane here. Pretty confident. There's some pretty good confidence in that. Now, we'll take a look here and actually show you that. So right now, you typically don't see these very elongated cones of uncertainty, if you will. Again, this is a 90% chance of a cyclone formation in 7 days. They raised it. It was 40. Now it's 50. It was 50. Now it's 60% within the next 48 hours. This will create a cyclone formation off of the Horn of Africa. Hello, everyone. How is everyone? We got TikTok up, YouTube, Twitter, which is X, and Facebook as well. So the biggest thing that a lot of people are questioning is, are we going to have a high pressure system that sits over the Carolinas, where I am, in Georgia, and help push this back and steer it back out into the Atlantic? Pretty much right around here is where the National Hurricane Center is dead set. We're going to see a hurricane pretty much around Puerto Rico, north of Puerto Rico. We're pretty confident with that. But after about hour 120, they lose confidence as to what this is going to do, because it's very dependent. It's very dependent on if we're going to have a high pressure system that sits here and helps push this. If we don't have the high pressure system, we know that the ocean temperatures are pretty damn warm. I mean, pretty warm. So that can also allow for destabilization and rapid intensification, which could, hello, Veronica, hello. And that can really help steer what could become that major hurricane, which would be Aaron, be the first major hurricane. I think it's first hurricane in the Atlantic for 2025 season. And then we also look at the Euro, and we can go back and show pretty much the previous times as well. So this was the 12 Zulu of the European model coming up, and pretty much riding close to Jersey and New York. But we go back a couple days ago, it was saying, hey, this thing's gonna come straight up and slam into the Outer Banks where I'm running for Congress. So you look at something like that, and now it's like, okay, wait a minute, hold on, completely different. And that is why models are not supposed to be used as forecasts. They're not supposed to be said, hey, this is exactly what's going to happen. No, because things change. And the way I always explain it to people is this. So pretty much after day 3, let's say this is day 3, and all of a sudden this tropical wave starts to intensify very quickly. Within the next 3 or 4 days, 5 days, it could be completely shifted because a high pressure decided to come sit over Puerto Rico. That wasn't on that model run, and now it's completely different. It's completely wrong. And that's why you'll see a lot of big name meteorologists, they'll post these and they'll say, oh, hey, look at this, or hey, look at this GFS fantasy run. We just had a GFS fantasy run there. I think it was 2 days ago. It showed, it showed this. So you can see how one little parameter could change an entire model after an hour 72, if you will. It could completely change it to now. 2 days ago, it said, oh, hey, it's coming straight into Houston, Texas. Is this heat dome over Cape? So we do see that the high pressure system comes from the west, and it's going to sit over the Carolinas about day 8 to day 10, which means we're going to get the heat and you guys will cool down. It's slowly going to move its way to the east, though. That's a big thing. It will slowly start to move eastward towards us. We take a look here at the other GFS run, and we can see this one here was closer to the east, or to the east coast. And then we look at the one from earlier today, and it develops very late. So develops very late, and then it turns way back out because there's a high pressure system that, and this was just again a model run that shows it comes off of Long Island and sits off of the Cape Cod area up there, and it pushes it. It's a big nothing burger. But then in this one here, that high pressure system doesn't exist, and then it can come a bit further. You can see right around this same time that high pressure was showing where the hurricane would be, but now it's showing it over Canada. That's why you can't use models as forecasts. Pretty much anything past this time here, pretty much this here, it's a best guess scenario is exactly what it is. It is a best guess scenario. Hence why the National Weather Service are like, we know it's going to get to near Puerto Rico. From there, we don't know. From Puerto Rico, it could go straight back out to the ocean. It could come into the Carolinas. It could just come close and ride up to New York. It could come into Florida. Hell, it may even dip south, jump over Cuba, and then strengthen and go back into Texas. We don't know. And that's pretty much why a lot of people with the National Weather Service and meteorologist wise, they're like, we don't want to get into that. Where we're saying, hey, 2 weeks out, here's what's going to happen. We don't have that technology yet. It's the weather. Things do change. Could we possibly get there in 100 years? Oh, absolutely. I mean, we could probably be controlling the weather by then in 100 years, if you ask my opinion. I mean, look how far we've came with flight. within what, 60 years, we went from learning how airplanes can work to landing someone on the moon. I mean, who knows? Things can change. Things can absolutely change. Jeff here goes, I don't like what I see here. Training escalating. Prepare for water in homes, especially low-lying roads prone to flooding. This is Tampa Bay. So he's looking at something up in Tampa Bay area, Florida, and that looks to be that band. So we were looking at that a little bit ago, actually. There is a band that this one right here. Let me go back. Let me do this. This would be the, yep, right here, guys. So this is what we're looking at. That is that system that's going to be moving up into Mississippi and Louisiana and portions of Alabama here. That's all that rain. You see there's flash flooding warnings going out near just south of Clearwater. But yeah, so we should start to definitely see something here, because it says the eastern tropical Atlantic showers and thunderstorms continue to show signs of organization and association with a well-defined low pressure area located over the eastern portion of the Cabo Verde Island. So again, Cabo Verde, that's where some of these long track hurricanes can really get that gumption to turn and burn across the entire Atlantic. And they get big, they get huge. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall and gusty winds are expected to continue tonight and Monday across Cabo Verde Islands, and interest there should monitor the progress of the system there. Yeah, that's definitely going to be, it's definitely going to be something that we're watching. I mean, you got a lot of people that do the tornado chasing that kind of stay, they steer away from tropics, because tropics are a special breed of storms to monitor, to forecast, and to chase in the end. But a lot of the tornado chasers on weather Twitter seem to be pretty interested in the system and seeing, because again, we're already at E, and it could be the first major hurricane that we get in the Atlantic. Right now it is kind of a late season, but I do want to remind you, end of September is when we had Helene last year, and that caused a lot of devastation from Florida up to western North Carolina there with Asheville, which we actually deployed down to and helped with the search and rescue efforts. We've got really warm water and a heat wave coming this week. Yeah, the ocean temperatures are absolutely bonkers right now. They are so warm. There's patches of warmth that's down here in the Bermuda area. Very warm waters. You know, we haven't had a tropical wave yet really come close, so all that warm water is manifesting. Yeah, warmer than usual. Absolutely. St. Pete, Florida, 2.5 inches or feet? 2.5 inches or 2.5 feet inside your house, because yeah, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater, a lot of that storm surge came up. And then you look at Perry is right there in that nook and cranny of where Florida, you know, goes out to Panama City, and that's where it really came on in feet, 2.5 feet. Helene was nasty because it slowed down, and with like western North Carolina, it was drastic. I mean, like drastic. You had like 10 feet of water coming down. A manatee swimming around Cape Cod this week. Oh, really? You know, we see that a good bit here in the Outer Banks. We actually just had one get eaten by a shark on video from a helicopter, and that was like, ooh. That's interesting to see that manatees made it the whole way up there. Gulf Shores, Alabama, first week. Too far out to say that, Hunter. Way too far out to say on that. Yeah, we're lucky if we know what's happening in about 4 or 5 days ahead of time, let alone September 1st. I mean, hell, even the models just only go out to the end of August, not even a full end yet. And like I was saying earlier, the models are not a forecast in any way. They're just a tool that says, hey, you guys may see this. It's just something to keep an eye on. But let this be a lesson for everyone. You book hotels, you book these trips at the end of, we'll just say mid-July to early October. That's prime hurricane season. And again, that can extend well into December. Trust me when I say that. We can have hurricanes into December, especially, hello, Cheryl, hello. So be mindful about that. Be absolutely mindful when it comes to booking these vacations. And I tell people that with the Outer Banks, like, hey, after Labor Day, you're really rolling the dice as to if you're going to get a vacation or if you're going to get a monsoon. September, October is when I'm most, yeah. September, October, like so many people are like, oh, August, I'm so scared. Or like, what is it, like June, July is when people are like, well, it's hurricane season starting now. I was like, yes, but your prime is definitely going to be August to October, especially mid-August to October. Those are where I get really, really keen on. Oh, thank you for the response and for caring about your. I think you should have a discussion with Chief Nifties. Interesting. I appreciate that this man is challenging infamous H-1B crash out Greg Murphy for Congress in North Carolina. I think it's worth hearing him out and understand what's cool. I love support from people. I love the support. Especially since Greg Murphy has shot himself in the foot there and opened up the door for me even more. Even more. Good old Greg Murphy. You can count on him to screw up an election. But yeah, you know, and that's one thing, especially on the congressional side here. I am very, very keen on. We could do a lot more with the National Weather Service that doesn't go solely against. That doesn't solely go against the whole budgetizing thing. Like, we get new weather radars. There's a new MPAR radar sites, which are multi-phase array radars. And basically what they do is there's kind of two, but we'll call it three. It's one radar site that's pretty much split up to three separate things, and they all share like time on the radar. Weather, aircraft, Department of Defense. And that could definitely help us on the East Coast there for hurricanes. You know, we typically don't see them on the West Coast, but it would definitely help for the DoD and ATC, ATC FAA. I don't know what most people want to call it, but I try to say both so people understand. But these weather radars are built from 1988, so they're called WSR-88Ds, Weather Service Radar 88 Doppler, 1988 Dopplers. And when they go down for like a week. So I would love to allocate some funding of the federal budget to replace those, and I think that will save money. Yeah, they cost money, but for what they offer, I think it could definitely help out nationwide when it comes to that. For sure. But yeah, so you guys talking about St. Petersburg. Jeff is just posting this now. There's a lot of flooding that is gonna start happening in St. Petersburg right now down in Florida, because we do have that system there that is on the west side of Florida, and that's going to start moving up into Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana here over the next few days. So that's definitely going to be something. You know, we take a look at, again, a lot of people like talk about the spaghetti models, if you will. Pretty much there's confidence about it getting to Puerto Rico. From there, it's too far out to say what is or what could happen. We'll say like our Puerto Rico area is the safe spot of, we know it's gonna. Bride, did you see this about I someone had brought that up. I was waiting more for a news source to talk about it or to get involved with it. Just because it is 4chan, I will say it is 4chan. So originally I got sent a Reddit link and I clicked on it and I scrolled down and someone's like, oh well, it's on 4chan. And I was like, oh. So I Google, I was like 4chan Greg Murphy, and it popped up and there was a lot of accusations that were coming out. I was like, huh. But then I saw someone come onto my X account and he's like, Greg Murphy killed my dad. So for those who don't know, Greg Murphy is a urologist. He's a surgeon. And he has been the congressman for the 3rd district here in North Carolina since 2019, when Walter Jones died in office. And he had just made a post, a very controversial post, which pretty much said he wants Americans to go to foreign doctors instead of American doctors. 3 weeks ago, he changed his stance. 3 weeks ago, he was like, oh, they're from India, their care sucks, or our quality of care is going to go way down. Had someone from X comment saying that he had killed his dad or uncle. I think it was his dad. Pretty much what happened was Greg Murphy was running for the 2019 special election, completely gave up his patient care. Guy comes in, he's seen him have the issues in the past, urology wise, and Greg's like, oh, it's just pain, it's normal, it's fine, because he was too busy running his election campaign. Dude had stage 4 cancer, and Greg just signed it off as just, oh, here's some Advil and ibuprofen, whatever. Dude died, and it came out in the end he had stage 4 cancer that was completely overlooked by the dude running for Congress because he was too busy to actually care about his patients. So I wouldn't put it past the dude. I would not put it past the dude if the stuff said in 4chan is true. I would not put it past him whatsoever. Norse. Yeah, so surfer girl Henrietta just went from a dissipated remnant low to a hurricane near Hawaii. Yeah, I said, guys, this is that rapid intensification I'm talking about. That is that rapid intensification that I'm talking about. We could see those waters are so warm on the Atlantic. We haven't had tropical wave yet. Could absolutely start to see rapid intensification once this thing starts to get formed and there's some destabilization. That's where, you know, it goes through like eye wall replacement cycles, ERCs, and they start to collapse in, and then all of a sudden, boom, and they take off. So that could absolutely happen. Oh man, that is a nice nadir. Flooding inside the Hampton Inn. This is up at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. Yeah, so probability of tropical cyclone eventually passing over Florida south of 27 north. Oh. Upon a given position. This is from FSU, Florida State University Meteorology. Huh. This is from based on historic data from 1886 to 2020. The color-coded regions indicate the likelihood of any type of tropical system reaching South Florida from a given position with the highest probabilities up to 95%. Wow. And Invest 97L is right over there with the question mark. Interesting. Guys, light up the chat there. Feel free to light up the chat. Good old man Donnie up there. Oh my god, the AOL. Yeah, dial-up internet service with AOL will end on September 30th. Only 34 years. Only 34 years. We've definitely come a giant ways in 34 years. Yeah, Wisconsin, you guys are definitely starting to see the floods though. This is Reed Timmer here. The most rain since the late 1800s. That's insane. Latest update of the multi-model ensemble for Invest 97L is overwhelmingly in favor of a track that misses the US East Coast. So right now, this is really, when we've been seeing this. So again, we get to Puerto Rico, and from there it's questionable as to what's going to happen. The ensembles are all saying it's going to miss the US except for a couple. We're going to have to see how this plays out. We're absolutely going to have to see how this plays out. Again, this is the super ensemble of the EPS, the GEFS, and the CMC, and this is where you can see where they break apart there, and some take a different path. We're gonna have to wait and see. We are waiting for our next hurricane to was away all the washer shores that have littered our shore. The washer, what's washer shores? Like stuff that has washed up on the shore? New people. Oh. Well, I mean, everyone here in North Carolina is mostly at least for Eastern North Carolina, most are transplants. How many miles north of Puerto Rico is it gonna? I don't. We don't see this actually like hitting Puerto Rico. You're probably gonna be like a couple hundred miles northeast of Puerto Rico. It's just we use Puerto Rico as kind of like a marker in the ocean to kind of gauge. Here's Puerto Rico. Is it going to go above, through, or below? And that kind of helps us get an idea as to what's going to actually happen. You know, if it goes above, then we know, okay, typically the Gulf will be out of the question at that point. It's kind of like the fork in the road. North or south is pretty much how that goes. That's pretty much what that comes down to. The coast is so built up with mega homes. Yeah, and that's the issue. The Outer Banks is, you know, we're dealing with that issue right now. Yeah, we get 4 million tourists a year, up to 5 million, because we don't calculate how many people actually come here. It's estimated to be 3.5 to 5 million. These homes have been so built up. The mega corporations are buying them. They're not maintaining them whatsoever. We're trying to do beach nourishment, which is replacing the sand and the dunes on the beach, because the sand is actually a giant protector to these homes. And then we end up having tourists come, playing on the dunes, collapsing the dunes, digging holes in the sand, digging holes in the dunes, and they don't quite understand those dunes is what's protecting the shoreline. And, you know, the issue is at the end of the day, the coast was not made to be built on. It's not an island in any way. It's pretty much a floating sandbar. It's not meant to be. Yeah, they've done that here too. Where I live has been built on a marshland, a swampland, and we're sounding the alarms like, hey, you guys redirected a creek which a lot of people would say and look at us in the political world and be like, so what if you guys redirected a creek? That means nothing. It does when it's Hurricane Central. We get a lot of rain, and by them doing what they did, which is against code, their own code and ordinance, and through the state, they don't give a flying crap. At the end of the day, they're like, well, we're a town, we can do whatever we want. No, you guys violated EPA, you guys violated so many acts to do that, but nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever gets done. No one wants to live on a swamp because that's bad. Wow. That's insane.
Probably over now that
oh my goodness. Sure. Look at the geyser. There's a giant geyser there in front of the IKEA. They're always saying 97 now is a tropical cyclone now. Looks like a closed, if slightly elongated circulation on the eastern edge of a convective cluster that has persisted for the entire day, basically. Certainly seems to meet the definition, even if it may struggle some for the next day or two. Andy Hazelton, okay, FSU, University of Miami. I think he works with NOAA. So we may have a tropical cyclone. Aaron may already be a tropical cyclone. There we go. I was too busy trying to watch this guy. I saw it coming up. This has to be staged. Got to sleep now. Bye for now. Bye, Veronica. This has to be. It has to be staged. It has to be. But yeah, guys, we'll be keeping an eye on it here. We will absolutely be keeping an eye on it and trying to figure out, you know, what's it gonna do? September 13th, my most stressed day in Houston, most active. And that's saying we don't know what to expect. We don't know what could be coming in September. This is just the start of it. Just the start. We have no idea what could come. Also, your birthday. Maybe at least there is something positive there, Woods. At least there's something a little bit positive. But guys, I appreciate it. We're going to keep an eye out and see what happens next. We're going to see how it goes. And I'll obviously be keeping you guys informed there. So I appreciate it, like always. Tap that follow button there. And feel free to shoot me a DM with anything. And much appreciated. Just remember it vividly in their alerts of hurricanes. Yeah, that's like prime. September is like the peak of the peak for hurricane season. A lot of people are like, oh, it's August. It's September. It's September, but have a plan. Obviously, know where your local flood zones are. Right now, flood insurance, it's a 30-day waiting period. But guys, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll yeah, you did.